Yes, it is 9/11 in the Michigan Garden. It's always 9/11 in the Michigan Garden. This is the one issue that has not been resolved to anyone's satisfaction that I can think of. Nobody really accepts what happened, but people have accepted the general idea that you can't do anything about it anymore. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir, and that's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to be doing in New York. We're preaching to the choir, because the people that are there and that show up, we will have a purpose. And I'm hoping that unity is involved with this, because it doesn't matter which theory or which idea about 9/11 that you want to put forward. Everybody needs to be there. And this is the 11th anniversary of 9/11. It happens to be on a Tuesday, like the last Tuesday, 9/11, which was not so good. And you know what? The last 9/11, 11 years before that, was on a Tuesday. So you can see that 11 on our calendar has significance. 11 years from any day will probably be on the same day. So that's just interesting things. These people are fully aware with that. And to think that they're not going to be there in New York this September is crazy. They're all going to be there. This is our greatest chance right here. And by just showing up and just being who you are, because that's what this is all about. We got a right to be free. We got a right to leave each other alone. We got a right to express our own opinion. But we most of all have a right to be free. It doesn't matter what you're going to do with that freedom that impacts yourself. But when you're impacting others, you know, then the line is drawn. Well, the government has drawn the line with me a long time ago. I have never accepted this government and this society as it's been, because I mean, it's just not even right. It's not moral. And when we get down to things here, this is all about right and wrong. Let's simplify the whole doggone thing, because what we're dealing with is right and wrong. We have just completely abdicated our responsibility as Americans. And I'm speaking for the whole country, because, well, you say, I didn't. Well, as a whole, we have. Because 2/3 of the people aren't even close to even wanting to look into the truth. So they just avoid responsibility completely for anything. And the government is our responsibility. It definitely is. We're electing these people. Nobody's holding them to the fire. And mostly that's because of the two-party system, which has to go. That's got to go. And really, we need a revolution. And it's not, you know, crazy to start talking about that. And we should talk about that more and more, because that's really, at the end of this is what we need. And it's not going to be pretty either, because these people are already using force on us. We have to get together, because numbers make a huge bit of difference here. When you have huge numbers, the force is less. They're not going to, you know, start a war with a couple 100,000 people in New York. But we need a couple 100,000 at least. Why not 500,000? Let's show the world that we're not stupid. America, everybody, I mean, has come to a consensus that there was controlled demolition happening all over the place in New York City. Every aspect of 9/11, from the first strike, second strike, the Pentagon strike, the collapses of both towers, and then W7 later in the day. And what about Flight 93? That is just spooky, the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? What does bringing people together mean? It means that we quit fighting about all the details that I just talked about. All these details about these things. I'm telling you right now, there are legitimate concerns with everything I just mentioned. Now, while we're in New York, we're going to be talking, because I'll be talking on the street. I'll be on the street 24/7 with my 3 dogs. So we're coming. We're going to be talking, because we need to talk. We need to talk about all the things that are dividing us, especially in all the different movements, man. Everyone come together this 9/11, because this is our last chance. They are getting ready to pull the plug. Now, you know, you're just a doomsday weirdo and everything. I'm weird. I will give you that. But the reason that I'm weird is because this is what happens to a person who's 49 years old that has never accepted the system, that doesn't believe in this system, never has looked at people as living hypocritical and unjust lives my entire life. This stuff started when I was a child because I could see the hypocrisy so clear. But most people come to accept the system. Now, I've had to work within the system and maintain some kind of a decency, you know, with people, because I have to live. You have to survive. So we're all guilty of accepting the system. So what am I saying? Am I perfect? Hell no. Anybody out there that's perfect? Anybody watching this that thinks they're perfect, you already made a mistake by watching this. So your first mistake was coming here and seeing this, because this is a wake-up call. Not to just the people that, we all know about 9/11. This is a wake-up call to the people that know about 9/11. And I'm talking about some of the leading alternative news people, because this should have been our issue from day one and stayed our issue. No justice, no peace. They should have never, it just came to be almost a business with people. And this is what's crazy, because we'll never get anywhere as long as that almighty dollar is ruling everybody. And it seems like it is. When you get down to the bottom thing and you start to talking to people about things that matter, about being lied to, why don't we demand the truth from people? When you know you're being lied to, why do you accept it? Why would you do that and just say there's nothing I can do? Well, you can stop it if you're there. And if you're not there, well, if there's people around you and they're listening to something that's a lie, you've got to step in, because it's time now. We're running out of time. We're damn near out of time right now. Watching the news will not inform you. What it does is it tells you what their agenda is, because they're telling you what to do. It's basically gotten that bad. They just suggest something and people do it. They give you alternatives. You know, people are watching. Well, you know, if you ask them about issues or things like that, you hear the news coming back at you. So that is disturbing, because that's a lack of free thinking in this country. So 9/11 is not just about, you know, going down there and getting arrested. For goodness sakes, we are not going to get arrested. You know what? We're going to come together in a way to where, you know what combats evil, and you know what really bothers these people is love. Holy mackerel, did I just say that? I sure did. Because that is the turning point of all things, when we can start loving each other again. Okay? So let's start in New York. And it's got to start with us Patriots, because the Patriots got to come. If no one else comes, Patriots come, because that's where we're going to talk. And we're going to talk between us. We're going to find out who's who, because I don't know. And I'm just nobody. But I'm perfect for this, because I am representing the common man. I have worked with my hands my entire life. So, and I've enjoyed it. And being out here in the garden, working with your hands, is getting you away from everything. And that's valuable time, because that's when the best thoughts come to you. And we've got to start isolating ourselves and giving yourself that quiet time every day, because if you're just constantly, you know, after it, it'll burn you up. And especially chasing these people around with the headlines, you know, that's even crazier. The alternative news seems to be now like just the news headlines only regurgitated in a way that's like against them. And that's fine. I mean, we all got to be informed about what's going on, but I don't need to follow it every way. I can tell you pretty much what's going to happen, and if you step back away from it, you can see what's happening. They are taking the entire Persian Gulf area. This is our empire. This is what this is all about. This November will be the beginning of breakdown and will lead to our empire, because the masses have to be occupied. And I'm also calling on the younger generation, because Generation Y, guess what? I have no other way to say this, but you are cannon fodder right now. We got to come together. Everybody, the kids have been lied to about 9/11. It's time that we got them involved, because this is a life-changing issue for a person that has their eyes completely closed and has never been able to even think outside the box, because that's what this is all about. Get out of the box. And what is the box? The box is correct political thought, the thing they call political correctness, which goes across everything now. What you watch, what you say, what you eat. I mean, what you do with your spare time. People are now really nosy, and what does it matter? If you like that person and you want to talk to them and ask them what they're doing, that's fine. But people are looking at other people suspiciously anymore. It's not a friendly way of looking at people. They think you are absolutely crazy when you're standing out in your garden talking to yourself, apparently. And I don't have a problem with this because that's who I am. I'm telling you something, I am rising. I have never been like I am. I'm the best I've ever been. And that's why I'm talking to you. And that's why you say, well, you're not important. Yes, I am. Okay? If I'm not important, then you're not important. Because we're all the same. And we should listen to each other. And one of the things I'd like to say is that they lied to us not only with their words on 9/11, but their video is highly suspect. This stuff is, I mean, it looks like bad special effects. I have no idea what is going on with that. And we're not going to go no plane, and we're not going to go all these things that make people crazy. We're not going to say anything like that. We're just saying that they lied to us on multi-levels. And the best way to get across that is to provide fake footage to the masses. I mean, where's the real stuff here? There's some good stuff, but there's too many discrepancies in everything that I'm looking at on the main news. I mean, there are places that they're going to be no matter what. Okay, and New York is going to be one of those places. All of the evil will be there. We're going to be there with the good. We are, because this is crazy. This is so easy for us that it won't even be funny, because it only takes